We just watched season finale of season 2, meaning season 2, episode 22 of Gilmore Girls. And this was my 537th time, Carrie's first time. Hi, I'm Chemda.
I'm Cary. It's my first time watching Gilmore Girls. And this is like we said, season finale, season 2. We're 2/7 done with the series now.
And you've been having predictions. I got to give you credit. The predictions for a lot of the predictions were spot on for this episode. And
I'm feeling pretty smug today. Yeah.
the thing is I end up feeling smug also because I'm like, I did not give it away. But when you said some of these predictions, my face was like, oh my God, don't respond. Don't respond. Anyway, the title, you know what I was thinking for the new season, and maybe we start it now, we say alternative titles first, and then we see if they match the actual title.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm reversing it. I'm sorry. I'm going nuts.
Let's do alternative titles first, and then you'll give us the real title. But in the meantime, I just want to remind everybody to subscribe. If you are listening and not subscribed, go ahead and hit subscribe now. And if you are feeling extra sassy, go find us on Patreon, where you can get some interesting and fun little perks there on Patreon. Check us out. All right, here are my titles.
Yay. Okay.
I would have either named this episode Wedding Kilt.
Okay.
Because I think the focal point of the episode was the kilt that Jackson wore.
Into it.
Or Chris Sucks. And Sucks is spelled S-U-X.
You know what? That's always a good title. So that's the problem with that. So, yeah. Prince Chris. Oi with the poodles already. Which, Oi with the poodles already is one of my alternative titles and also a phrase that is very Gilmore friendly. And that it's kind of like code word, like sort of like, you compared it to Seinfeld, the pretzel line.
Oh, yeah, these pretzels are making me thirsty. Like it's a coded line that people who watch will understand.
Yes, so Oi with the poodles already. That's why we have poodles on our merch.
Poodles on the merch. That explains that glyph.
Yes.
That's
so
awesome.
You finally heard it. And you might not remember this because you hadn't watched one episode when this happened. When we were going over like the merch with the symbols and stuff that I had to make without you because you didn't understand anything and didn't see any Gilmores yet. You were going over every symbol and what it will mean, and you were predicting it. And when you were going through the poodle ideas, I kept saying, what else? And then I said, Oi, with the poodles already. And I think you thought that I was like, all right already. But I was just kind of signaling to the people who have seen it before.
Nice.
Oi, with the poodles already.
Nice. You were talking, you were coded messaging around me, and I didn't get it. Yep.
So I've done a lot of winking to the audience that have seen it because I also don't want to spoil it for some of the people who are watching for the first time with you. So I'm only coding with the people. Yeah, but
then when I rewatch our podcast and I rewatch, I will then understand all of those things that I missed in real time because you're like, stupid rainbow, and that makes no sense to me, but everyone who knows what stupid rainbow means knows that you're talking to them. And I want money if stupid rainbow is a catchphrase from this show in season 5 or something.
So want to watch I want to watch this on your second watch too. But anyway, let's get into this first watch. So the first alternative title I have is Oi with the Poodles already. Second one is You're Toxic, I'm Slipping Under.
Oh my God. Okay. And what is the real title of this episode?
The real title is I Can't Get Started.
I Can't Get Started?
Yes. So now you ask why. And I ask the same thing. Because again, only because I'm watching with you am I paying so close to some of these things. One of the things is titles. I've never seen this title before. So I researched it. I Can't Get Started is an Ella Fitzgerald song. The song that was playing in the beginning and the end of this episode.
I gotcha. That's the intro. Okay.
Yes, and I want to read some of the lines. I've flown around the world in a plane. I've settled revolutions in Spain. The North Pole I have charted, but I can't get started with you.
Oh.
So now the title is perfect that we know those lyrics.
Yeah, and also it makes even less sense as Sookie's wedding intro song.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which we do start with that with the lyrics for with this song because she wants to play this down the aisle.
The opening of this episode was very confusing to me because it opens on what is clearly wedding stuff, right? Like there's flowers and there's ribbons. And I was like, but then the camera pans over and Rory's like asleep on a table. So I was like, is the wedding over? Like, is this the night of the wedding and everyone has partied hard and Rory is already done partying? So I was like, does this episode open on the end of the wedding? Like, why is Rory already... Because it looked like Wedding Mess.
It was meant to look like that, of course. And then there was like a big switch.
Wedding Mess could be at the beginning of a wedding and Wedding Mess can be at the end of the wedding. And so for a second, I was like, whoa, what? Did we miss the whole thing? No, this is Wedding Prep Mess. And they're going over songs. And Sookie has terrible taste in songs to walk down. I'm sure you have the list.
I do. I have the list. Okay. So, well, no. Oh, yes. So her alternative songs to this one, which was so sad already, is Hey Jude, which sounds like a good idea. She goes, Paul wrote it for Julian to cheer him up, but it was to comfort John Lennon's 5-year-old son, Julian, during his parents' painful divorce.
Yeah. And it's like remembered as one of the Beatles' breakup songs. Like it's not a happy song at all. And it's not hopeful for the future. It's like
none of these are.
Things are bad right now. Yeah, they had fun thinking of these. What are the other ones?
Right, yeah. Seasons in the Sun. She says sentimental favorite. It's about a dying man saying goodbye to the people he loved.
Okay.
Cats and the Cradle, one of the saddest songs
ever written.
She goes, makes you re-examine your priorities. Yes, it's about a man who puts off time with his son for time at work, and then he watches the cycle repeat with the next generation.
Yeah.
And then there's Don't Cry Out Loud. And Lorelai goes, Sookie, do you even like Jackson?
Yeah.
Oh, and actually I didn't look up Don't Cry Out Loud, so I'm going to have to do that afterwards. It must be horrible.
Your wedding walk down song?
Well, I had a wedding. So
what was your walk down song?
There was a song that was like our song. And actually, I don't even want to give it the I don't want to associate that with it anymore. So that's why I'm not going to say it here.
Okay.
Yeah, because I'm divorced and
all right. That's why I said, what would it be? Like if you were okay. How about this? If you and I get married, what would our March songs be?
Well, now Gilmore Girls theme song.
Oh, yeah. When you need me. If you call.
Yeah.
Let's see. I would probably pick like 9 Inch Nails, Hurt.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
The original, not the Johnny Cash version, which is fun.
Well, Tracy Chapman has a song called Wedding Song. And nice. I put that together as a Xerxes and Me song. I don't know if it's necessarily our song officially, but I enjoy that.
My boyfriend and I have a song officially, but again, like you, it is a spoiler to the wedding, which I will not indulge.
That's exciting. And then you'll
it's way more fun to pick songs for a wedding than it is to like have a wedding or be married. But we have the song on lock.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a reveal. It's a whole thing. Okay. So moving on. I realized at the beginning of this that we agreed last episode that I'm not going to watch the opening titles because there's spoilers in the special guest appearance. Mm-hmm. It is not just during the opening song. It is for like the first couple of minutes of the episode. So now I am blocking the screen with my hand. I have to block the bottom third of the screen while it's still announcing special guest stars as the episode continues.
Yeah, but I think it's a good idea. I think
it's a good idea too, but I have to rely on you to now tell me they've stopped.
Yes. So that's a thing that we had to learn.
But you didn't tell me to stop, so I was going to watch the whole episode with my hand over the bottom third.
Oh, okay.
Until I risked moving it away, and then it was on like executive producer or something.
Okay, I will note that next time.
God, it took us 2 seasons. Okay, so I thought it's insane that the bride is catering her own wedding. That sounds crazy.
Yeah, but isn't she catering it in the sense that she's like the executive chef? Like,
I mean,
she
I hope
oversaw
so.
it, and
Man, I hope so. It just sounds like a lot of work.
Yeah, I think you have to let it go the day of, but she was there up until the night before. And I thought of that, but like not everyone parties the same is what I came to. Like there's some people who want to cater their own party,
Yeah, no,
you know? And
I
that's
get
the
it.
fun.
It just made me tired to think about it. I know, and she must love it. There's no other reason she would do it unless she loved it.
And also
But I just think
Michelle
of
kind
like
of let us understand that there's going to be up to 40 people who live within the 5-mile radius of each other. That's what he said. 40 people is not exactly like, I mean, my mother would host 40 people at our home, like, and bring the folded chairs and do the thing. So I feel like, and it sounds insane. I've never been able to do something like that. Food comes out hot. Like she's absolutely incredible. So I think like Sookie would be able to do it. And that's what she's hosting people. I know it's like your wedding, but let's be real. The wedding happens for like 20 minutes and then she's not serving her guests.
I know. I was just impressed that a bride would take on catering. Ugh.
And I agree. I thought I had to think about it and go, I think I might enjoy that if I'm Sookie. And if I'm me.
Yeah. Get your mind off the rest of it. So we
get your mind off the rest of it.
The rest of the planning.
Oh, okay. Focus on the part that you like. I see.
Yeah.
I thought like get your mind off of getting married. Like,
oh yeah, nobody wants to think about that either.
Okay.
No, I meant like, oh my God. Like I was at a wedding one time and they needed a pen for the guest book. And like it needed to be ivory, not white. And they cared about that. And I was like, oh, I'll never plan a wedding. Like I can't with the details of like what color is the pen for the guest book.
That's a lot.
Like, you know.
Yeah. But I do think some people enjoy
some people
that.
really care and like more power to them. But like I was like, nope, maybe if I can just make like 1,000 tiny quiches, it'll like take my mind off the rest of like what color is the wedding pen, you know?
Yum, I'm coming to your wedding.
Yeah. I'm gonna get them all at Costco. Them tiny quiches.
Those are pretty good.
They're so good.
Okay, so Michelle is poo-pooing the whole party because he has to like he has to run it and he's like, 40 people. I think I figured it out.
He's like, I almost had to get a second piece of paper.
That was cute.
Great. What a snark.
Yeah, and Rory's gonna come up with other suggestions for what she could walk down the
that was
aisle.
also weird to me. Like they're going back and forth about the songs, and then Rory's like, Lane and I'll pick it, and Sookie's like, okay. And I'm like, what the heck?
Well, they're gonna give her suggestions, which I think makes sense because it doesn't make sense to walk down the aisle to any of those songs. I mean, I guess let a bride do what, and let the couple do what they want to do, but I don't know. They're going to give her suggestions. If you're going to go through a wedding is for other people to enjoy you getting together. Maybe not those songs.
I mean, yeah. Ultimately, nobody remembers what song the bride walks down to, unless it's memorable, unless it's 9 Inch Nails. Then you're like, wow, that's a choice.
It should be, oh my God, yes, 9 Inch Nails.
Yeah. Or like Cop Killer or something, Like, what?
My God.
It's a choice. Something banned that was the first banned song I could think of.
Banned?
Cop Killer got banned, remember? In the 90s?
I don't remember that. No.
It got banned, and then someone got a hold of a copy of it, and we listened to it, and we were like, whoa, we're listening to banned music.
Wow.
So that'll be my wedding song.
Okay. No, you're right. That would be the only way that I remember.
Like it's a band song. All right. Moving on. And I want to hear from people if they had an unusual wedding entry song. Just what the song was. Like, because I've never given this any thought in my life until 10 minutes ago. So
right, like, is there a song that would stand out? Because you're right. Now that I think about it, why would anyone remember the song but you? Unless you're going to tell us why you chose that song and it's like a whole thing. But yeah.
Yeah. I don't
know. Okay, so they're having it at the inn. So the grandparents get invited. The pity invite.
Yeah. I love it. I mean, Emily calls it immediately.
She's right.
She's totally right. Have you ever been a pity invite to a wedding?
Maybe. I don't think so. I haven't been to a lot of weddings outside of like going with my parents.
Oh.
Like, I've only been to a few I'm an adult, you're an adult, you're my friend weddings.
Oh.
Not many.
I go to absolutely every single wedding I'm invited to. And a handful of those have been pity invites where at the last minute they're just like, I'm a second tier friend and the first tier friend couldn't make it. And they're like, whatever, invite Cary. And I go to those.
But how do you get invited to that? Like, how does it happen last minute? Because I think it's kind of okay. Like, if you're not close, you're not close. Who cares? So,
and like,
but
weddings
it doesn't mean you have to go.
No, we could reasonably get up there. It was a little annoying to get there and back, but like the wedding was gorgeous. How did I get invited? I think I got a text message that was like, hey, I know it's last minute, but I mean, the wedding was 2 weeks from that date, like 10 to 14 days from that. And they were like, if it's at all possible, would you and your plus one at the time want to come up and come to the wedding? And I was like, hell yeah. I understood. I wasn't insulted. Like, we're not that close.
Okay.
You know, I was like, thank you for thinking of me.
At all. Yeah.
At all. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just flattered. Like, that's how low my self-esteem is.
Well, was there arranged seating? Were you like with the
it was very,
tier?
it was, to be fair, it was a very casual wedding. It was not nameplates and announcements. It was a very chill, laid back wedding. And like, I did not mind.
I just had a .com. Like, here's all the information, including registry, including where the event is, like where anything is, and pictures. So it's like, I didn't want to send out thank you things. I didn't want to send out, because I think that's ongoing. That it's like, I send you an invite, you come, you give me a gift, then I send you the thank you, and then do you have to thank me on the thank you? Like, this is too much. I get it. We all get it.
You have to thank the thanker.
Thank you. We're good.
I like the endless loop of thank you notes. I still have thank you note loops going for like 15 years. Thank you for your thank you note. It was so nice that you appreciated the thank you note that I sent you. You like put them on nice stationery. I have look, I mean, at the ready, I got my fountain pen here. For those who are only listening, I am showing a fountain pen right now.
That's very pretty.
But this is my thank you note fountain pen that I keep within reach at all times. Because that's how you write a thank you note.
This is all true, isn't it?
I don't write it with a ballpoint pen like an idiot.
Oh my God.
I was raised right. Okay, let's move on. So the grandparents are invited.
But you seem like you would care what color pen your wedding would have then. How do you
I'm an enigma. I don't know.
Okay. But yes, Emily called it. Emily's right. You know, it's
and then when Richard comes down and he's like, when's the wedding? And she's like, Sunday. And he's like, oh, a pity invite. And I knew that was coming, that he validates Emily immediately. They've been around the block. They know what society is like. I thought that was very funny.
Also, the whole conversation is such a setup for that line because since when let's be, if we're not being like a funny show that we have to write these lines like this, let's be real. When would Richard Gilmore go, oh, we're invited? When is that? What does he care? It's on his calendar and it'll be like his suit will be pressed. He wouldn't say when, but for the
Right.
gag, yeah.
Right.
Also,
But
I
he
think
says
it's
when because I always say when because I want to know if it's a pity invite or if it's 8 months from now, I'm like, oh, that's so sweet. And if it's a week from now, I'm like, oh, pity invite, you know?
oh, I see. Oh, this is like a real thing. Like,
Oh, yeah.
oh, okay, so maybe he would say that.
Yeah. But they still go. That's what's
I
funny.
love it.
It's ruder not to go to the last minute pity invite. I
I
went to a
love
pity
it.
invite bachelorette party. I went to a pity invite.
Hmm.
Someone called out and I came in as a sub for a bachelorette, and that was one of the more memorable nights I've ever had.
But is this weird to say? Why do they need a sub? Like, why do you need a certain amount of people at the bachelorette? Because you prepaid
I
for
have no
things?
I did not ask. I think they
Okay.
had 8 spots in the limo.
Okay. Okay.
They had 8 spots in the limo and somebody couldn't make it, and then they were like, "Call Carrie, see if she can
Hmm.
come."
Okay.
And man, that night was ew. All right.
Oh, okay. I also think it's funny now. I think on invites, you already check what you want to eat. You like check chicken or fish. Do they still do that? At some point,
Sometimes.
they switch to when you get the invite, you actually checkbox the thing that you're going to pick to eat at the event. I'm sorry. I know it's regular, and ultimately, I really don't care. Have the party and have it exactly the way you want. But that's funny because you're sending a formal invite, which is so hoity toity in a good way. It's fun. I'm not poo pooing any of this. I just think it has a little contradicting to say in this fancy party, tell me now what you're going to want to
Yeah,
eat.
I know. And then the day of, you're like, "Oh, the chicken looks way better."
You know,
And then you throw the
just
whole thing out of you can't do it. You can't. I feel like,
yeah.
if someone can't make it, you have 3 extra pasta dishes and the whole thing crumbles. You're like, "No, this was set on a very, precarious, like, built foundation of this number of chicken, fish, and pasta."
But that's the thing. When that started happening, the little checkbox thing of picking ahead of time, I was like, oh, this makes so much sense because I have no idea how they were ready with how many people are going to pick chicken back in the kitchen. They had to have chicken for everybody. And these are logistics that I think about because I really enjoy producing and I enjoy putting together a party, but it still felt a little funny. I I wanted to checkbox all of it. Can I just have a little bit of everything? Can we share
Yeah.
in the middle?
Or,
Could we vote for like a everything gets put in the middle on our table
yeah,
version?
family style. Yeah. You
Yeah.
been to a Chinese wedding? That's how they do it.
That's my favorite.
Those are elaborate affairs, man. But yeah, everybody shares every dish. So you don't have
I
to be like, "Oh, the chicken looked better."
I love sharing. I love it. And also I love it. I love it. Sharing is caring. Okay, and the ice thing, of course. Now every time I see a bag of ice, every time somebody brings ice to a party, every time I think what's the best thing to bring to a party, now I think Carrie Gravenson because this ice thing. So Emily pulls out, what should I bring ice to the party as well? And of course, Carrie, while we're watching, goes, yeah.
Yeah. Bring a bag of ice. Honestly, it'll be put to good use. No one will be mad. Always bring a bag of ice,
You
Emily.
know, we met at the park the other day, a bunch of us, and I wanted to bring you ice to that gathering.
It's
I
at
think
my
you would
house.
appreciate
Not when
it.
we're out.
I just I just wanted to bring you ice. Just while we're out, put it in the center on a
We
public
met in a
table.
park.
Just
We have a cooler. That's very funny. I don't know what I would have done. I would have had to just leave it there. I'd be
no,
like,
we
all
would
right.
have used it. We would
Well,
have
we would have
used it.
used it to chill the drinks we had that we brown
Yes.
paper bagged.
Yes.
That's funny though.
See, it would have been even funnier in person. I will find a way.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So now Dean and Rory are still together. They're at Luke's and she's doing the thing of I want what you ordered.
Uh-huh.
And I don't think Dean cares what he eats. So I think it's fine for him to switch, but I can't do that with boyfriend right now. Like that's not although I wouldn't want to. I don't want to pick what I want to eat and then switch.
Okay.
What do you think?
I've
Are
done
you a
it.
you could just
I've switched
switch.
drinks. I think I do it more with drinks than the dinner, than the food. But if you order a fancy drink and the person you're with orders a fancy drink and you have a sip of the other ones to see what fancy is, and then you like theirs better and they like yours better, by all means.
Oh, well, that works out perfectly.
Yeah.
I just think Dean would switch any breakfast he had, and that's a plus for him. I can't always do that. I feel like that's like, that's, you're gonna go far, kid. Not caring what you eat. It makes things so much easier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he switches. It's very cute. And then she forcefully eats, she little touch of overacting there, Rory, when she cuts the pancake with great vigor. It's very funny. I'm like, all right, we get it. You wanted pancake.
I don't know if she said, ooh, boy, but I heard, ooh, boy.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, but this is leading up to Lorelai is pacing outside of Luke's. Is she coming in? Is she not? Obviously, we know she's coming in.
And it also speaks to, like, sorry to cut you off, but what you've said before, they have all this time before school. They have time to meet boyfriend and girlfriend in the diner, order the food, and like mom's pacing outside for 20 minutes and they're still on time.
Yeah. This is all before school. This is not a world I grew up in.
No.
Where we had time to do anything before school.
Hardly did my hair.
I mean, yeah. I was lucky that I put shoes on. You know, like, it's like I was deranged. You just go out the door.
I did things like forget my coat. Like, I don't wake up. Yeah.
High school starts too early. Don't get me started on that. Yeah. Anyway, Lorelai finally comes in and she's dancing around Luke because she's trying to apologize. And she talks about donuts and she
does a rhyme about donuts.
She does a rhyme. You wrote it down, didn't you?
No, I didn't. And I thought about writing it down. And then I thought, no, it's not even a good rhyme. And she's just annoying Luke. And I'm not going to repeat this.
Okay.
It was very specific.
I thought you were going to be like, yes, I wrote it down and I have it tattooed on my butt.
Oh, well, that I might do. That's funny.
Okay, good. So Luke is having none of it. He's just like, he's not ignoring her in a third grade way where he's pretending he can't hear her, but he's ignoring her in a more hurtful adult way, which is, I hear you, I just don't care.
You know what? I thought this was very mature and I thought this was pretty appropriate. And I thought what he said made a lot of sense to me. And I can, it would still break my heart as Lorelai, but he says, and I have this part.
Okay.
What is it exactly that you want me to do? I'm not mad. I'm not holding a grudge. I heard your apology. I feel I'm being polite. I listened to your donut bit. I got you your coffee. What would make you happy?
Yeah.
And she says, I want Luke back. And he goes, he's standing right here. No, he's not. No, she's right that no, he's not. Because he normally likes her bit about donuts.
Right. And he usually gives her banter back. I mean, obviously he's being very cold in this moment. But he's also right. Like, what do you want from me? You know? Like, I'll either get over it or I won't, but you doing this is not going to help either way, you know?
Yeah, that was a bad fight too. That was bad.
Yeah.
That was core shaking. You might not get this person back or the person that was, this might be your coffee guy now, not your friend.
Right.
That's painful.
And then it'll be awkward. That's why you can't date the coffee guy. I've been saying it. Can we get to Paris's speech though?
Yes. I have that.
Oh my God.
I just have her promises. I have her promises. Better drinking fountains, updated lockers, clearly marked boys and girls restrooms.
Which I thought that was the funniest, weirdest one.
Yep. Yeah. Non-dairy and wheat-free options in the cafeteria. A larger voice in the monetary dispersal of charitable funds donated to our institution.
Wow.
Okay.
I need clearly marked men's restrooms.
You know what's funny is I think that was a more liberal thing to want back then, and now it's the opposite. because
I just wanted to know how they were confusing at Chilton that even needed to be something
that's
somebody
true.
thought of. Like, what were the signs at Chilton that people were just confused and she was promising to correct this? I'm not even talking about the politics of it.
You're
I'm
right.
just like, what were the signs? Like, were they too small? Like, what do they look like?
Also, like after day one, you know which one's which.
Yeah.
That's
But
great.
like, obviously this had been a problem somehow.
In
Like
the
somebody
smart
walked into
school.
like Paris herself walked into the wrong restroom. And now her platform is, I'm going to label these more clearly. Like, it sounds like a you problem to me, but I digress. So she gives this impassioned speech and she gets crickets, which is very painful, but also very funny to us because, I mean, I've bombed on stage and it hurts, but it is also kind of funny in my head when you get nothing.
I always feel bad for Paris when there's something to feel bad about. But I always have to, I'm always having that track in the back of my mind. Like, she's so mean. I know that
I
there's
know.
two things that exist here. One is that it's not fair. She's right. It's not fair. When she sat down, the two cool guys, like the guy and girl, like they snickered a little bit and
Yeah.
they spoke in each other's ear and stuff. And that's heartbreaking. Also, what exists is she's such a she's so mean all the time.
Yes. And she's
Just
so entitled to it. And like,
yes,
she's just not a nice person.
right.
And
So,
yeah, so she gets nothing. But I will say the actress, who plays Paris?
oh my god, her name
She
is lost on me right now. Eliza. I'm sorry.
It doesn't matter. I just
It does, and
noticed
I'm
that this
so sorry, Paris, and the person who played Paris.
she
We mean no disrespect. We're just bad with names because you are amazing. Okay, please continue.
she looked beautiful in this scene. She had
Yes.
perfect skin. She's so pretty in this scene, especially. And I want to compare it to like season 1 meeting her because I think she's like just gorgeous. And I just noticed that in this scene, especially.
Hmm.
We find out that through polling, people find her competent and smart, but she has a likability issue.
Mm-hmm.
And I
She's the
was
most
jumping out of
qualified. Yeah.
what's that? And she's the most qualified. And I
Mm-hmm.
was wiggling around in my seat because we experienced this in real life in 2016. And I don't want to make a whole thing about it, but these exact words.
This line actually hit me pretty hard. You mean people would rather vote for a moronic twink who they liked over someone who can do the job?
Yes.
This is in 2002.
This was in 2002.
Yeah.
And it's real, you guys.
It is.
Hillary Clinton could have done it, but she had a likability issue for some reason.
But it's real in all aspects of life. It's like you said, the salesperson can do any job, and if you don't know how to sell yourself, if you are not likable, you this happens in
It,
every job.
it matters. It sucks,
It
but it
does.
does.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was alarming. And then later there is a Hillary Clinton reference, which is very funny and very painful for those of us who the
Going
few of
back
us
in going back in time to watch things, I didn't know how much people were expecting Hillary Clinton to run for president before she did. I didn't know this was for years and years. People are
the
like,
minute she became senator.
I didn't know. But yeah,
The minute she became senator for New York, everyone was like, she's going to run for sure. And like, yeah. All right. So, this all ends with Paris asking Rory to join her ticket, which is so weird. And why Rory gives in? Oh, it's because she dangles Harvard.
You don't think this makes a lot of sense? First of all, never underestimate the power of alliteration. Gellar and Gilmore, I think she was right about that. I think I was surprised Rory, that wasn't on her list of things to do, is to be student body something. Like, what are you doing to get into Harvard aside from getting the grades that everybody else has? I think Paris is usually right when it comes to academics in like do you want Harvard or do you not? She just said she'll hand you this thing. You're going to do your part. I'll do mine. And you get to write it on your transcript. No? I was surprised Rory pushed back, except that she pushes back on everything.
Well, because you'd have to spend more time with Paris.
That's true.
And so you're going to have to take the emotional hit of like,
You're right.
I have to spend more time with you.
Oh my God, I apologize. What the? Yeah, she has to spend 6 weeks in DC in a dorm room with her. Never mind. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, push back. Okay. Yeah. And I love that Rory was like, the thought of being nice to people never occurred to you.
Yes, I like that too. She just called it out. She was like, no. What are you talking about?
Wear some braids. Wear
some braids.
Bow. Yeah.
Terrible.
Again, Paris is right. That's what makes her likable is other people. She doesn't want to be likable.
Yeah.
It's too much work.
But also, remember like a few episodes where like Rory was like outed as like the weirdo? The loner who sits alone and reads with her headphones at lunch. Now all of a sudden Rory will balance the ticket for a likable person. I thought Rory was supposedly the weirdo. She had to join the Twinks, or what are they called? the Puffs? I think because you just said the word twink in there. But yeah, she had to join the Puffs to like become popular. I guess things have turned around for Rory's popularity at Chilton.
I don't know that she has popularity, but when people interact with her or in her interactions in general, and her vibe in school is probably opposite of Paris, because how could you not be? My God. She tells her it looks like birds dress you in the morning, which I think is one of the greatest lines.
That's so great.
In all
birds
of
haven't dressed me since I was 2.
I love that.
I wish I looked like birds dressed me in the morning.
Wait, they don't?
No.
Oh.
Just pigeons.
You don't live in that part of Queens?
I don't live in that part of Queens. That's
we gotta
Western.
Move to
that's
Jersey.
Eastern Queens. Yeah, that's Bayside.
Okay. And then
Christopher comes to the doctor to help Rory get her cast off.
Now, why does every time Christopher opens his mouth, I'm like, I'm trying, buddy, but you keep saying things. It is so annoying. As soon as he comes in, he's like, hey, doc, I'm the dad. Cool story, bro. And then the other one is, if at all possible, we'd like to keep the arm. Hammer, 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 hammer.
Yeah, and the doctor's
I come with dad jokes now.
Yeah.
That's how dad I am.
And poor Dr. Sue is like, thank you, sir. Please sit.
Thank you, sir. May I have another?
Right. You, like, I can't say what I really want because I just want to get this done. And like, yeah.
And I don't want you suing me for more money for your family.
Right.
Ugh. I think at how possible I'd like to keep that arm. Oh my God, he annoys me so much.
I know, he's so annoying. He's so annoying, and they're not writing him likable.
No.
Like, it's not like there's some sort of charm or like hidden, like at least he's trying. Like I don't feel it.
He keeps coming for redemption, and I'm like, you shall not go forth. Ew.
And I'm still like so cautious around him. Ugh, so annoying. So annoying.
And I'm more grossed out from me because I know when I was younger, I would fall for all of this. This would be charming. I'd be like, because I also was aiming for the picture that people kept handing me would be the best life. Like, you know, when he says things like the perfect picture, there used to be a perfect picture, but that will make you actually bananas in your mind, constantly trying to make a perfect picture of your life.
Yeah.
Ugh, and his perfect picture now grosses me out.
Yes. And it doesn't take into account anybody else's like
But they all want it. They all want it. They all want this picture. Rory wants this picture. Chris wants this picture. Lorelai wants this picture because we were being pushed this picture. If a person has a child with another person and they end up together, even Sookie says, after all this time, you'll make the perfect, finally, that picture. You could frame it. Everybody who's supposed to be together will be together. Dude, your daughter's 17. You were in love when you were 16. This does not match anything that happens in real life anymore. You all need to get away from each other, including Rory in a year. Take a breath and like get off each other's butts. Like, this is too much. Now, again, I say this from a place where I used to be that, and I hated it because it didn't fit, you know? And it's like, when you don't want that picture, when you don't go for that, you're the odd man out. Lorelai had to get away from her whole family, the whole society that she grew up with, reject finances that would have made her life easier because it didn't fit and she was not about to cram it in. But guess what? At 30 something, she's still going to try to cram it in because maybe this time and maybe this time and maybe this time. Yes, I had all of that in me.
Okay.
Like, it's just, oh.
Yeah. No, I hear you.
And this was rom-coms, and this was romance, and this was ideal,
and this
and
is,
this was,
and yeah, we
it's so
believed
sad.
it.
We did,
And
we really did.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it was fine to like people who were bad for you. Nobody said.
Look how everyone's co-signing that. They're so happy.
Yeah. Nobody's pulling her aside and be like, doesn't he owe you like $40,000?
You're so into the child support.
It's so annoying to me. But yeah, I mean, nobody's saying it's not a good match, but it has to be a good match because they have a kid together, you know?
Wouldn't that be great if you end up with your kid's parent? There's something so beautiful about that picture. I mean, listen, raising somebody with another person and another two people, a lot easier, a lot better, a lot of times. But hey, it's looking like it's not working like that for a lot of people. So
yeah,
whatever that is, it's not what it is now.
Yeah, I'm glad we updated, or I'm glad we're in the process of updating that vision a little bit.
But it doesn't need to be glorified. Like, it is harder being a single parent. It's harder. One person doing all the jobs of like.
But it's still easier than doing it with someone who's a weight around your neck.
I agree.
You know, it's so much easier to be alone than it is to be with the wrong person. The easiest, most ideal way is to be with a partner who like supports you and, you know, does the proper partner things, whatever that means to you.
Right.
And
he's not that. He always comes close to it in your mind.
No, he comes in at the last minute to do the least amount of anything.
Right.
He just gets credit for showing up at all, ever.
Constantly.
Ugh, whatever. Oh, we got a Volvo.
I know, the freaking Volvo. Oh my God.
Shut up.
Ugh. But
you got a big boy job. You got a job. You want credit.
32 years old.
Yeah. Oh, you got a job. Now you're the best dad in the world.
Yeah, I'm Christopher. I'm daddy. Yay, daddy. But this is where we find out that it would be 6 straight weeks of Paris and Rory in a dorm room. Junior leadership. I mean, it sounds like a great experience. Like,
it sounds like something that Rory would be totally into. You know, she's totally into that.
And it's so cool. It's a good time. You're 17 years old, right before your senior year. You're like old enough to be away for that long from your parents and have fun in DC. Yeah.
That would be really fun. I might enjoy that.
Yeah, just experiencing life outside of what you're used to, and somebody's like footing the bill clearly, and you're going to get to meet people, and who cares? Just be away for a little while. That's fun. What are you doing this summer? Like,
right, exactly.
What are you doing?
What are you doing? Are you still building houses for Houses of Humanity?
Right.
I don't know.
You got to do it.
Speaking of things I love doing, did you know that we do some of our shows live?
I did. Oh, you're not talking to me. Oh, okay.
Yeah, we do some streaming, live streaming. One of the most fun we've ever had doing a live stream was the season wrap up after season 1, and we are also doing it again. We are doing it again at the end of season 2. So between season 2 and season 3,
which is
right now, because this is the last episode, we will be doing a live stream. So if you're hearing this in real time, come join us on YouTube. to find out when that's going to be. And if you're listening to this in the future date, you missed it, but it's still online and you can go back and watch it. But come live, because then you can interact with us and it's funsies.
And if you subscribe on YouTube, which is where we're doing it, YouTube will alert you, especially if you click on the bell and stuff.
Yeah,
Take a
you
look
get
at
that
all
little
those
bell
buttons.
alert thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yes, now Christopher's invited to Sookie's rehearsal.
Yes.
Which some people could say is rude, but I think they have the kind of friendship where Sookie would love that. Like the more
I
the
think
merrier.
it's rude. But I'm not on Chris's side, no matter what he does.
Right,
but yes, you're right. I mean, they do have the friendship where if Lorelai said, "Can I bring Chris?" Sookie would be fine with it. I just think it's rude because I hate Chris.
Oh, I'm with you on that. Check mark all the way. So, but then we get to see the rehearsal, which the rehearsal has about as many people as the whole wedding. It has.
Yes, and I've been to rehearsal dinners that are like that too. I'm like, this is basically the wedding, but okay.
I'm for it because a party's a party, and I love it. But you really rehearse going down the aisle, right? Like you really.
Yeah, and where everybody stands and who,
Yeah.
And then one time I went to a rehearsal dinner and the minister was there and he said very clearly, he's like, when we do the rings part, if the ring drops, I will pick it up.
Oh,
because apparently it had happened enough times where they both go to pick it up and bump heads on the way down to pick up a dropped ring. And it happens enough that he had a protocol that he had to make sure everyone was aware of. And I thought that was so funny.
That makes the rehearsal dinner. I think it didn't used to be a rehearsal dinner, right? It just used to be like, let's go over things at the chapel. Like
I think it was
the day
both.
Before.
Yeah, you could do one or the other.
Because I think everyone's just looking for another party around their celebration, which again, I'm for.
Yes. Right. You need 7 parties to get married. Yeah.
I'm only for it if you can afford it, which
yeah, but I mean apparently Sookie cooked all the food for this too.
Yeah.
So that's,
she can afford it.
She can cook all the food for the rehearsal dinner and the wedding because it's only 40 people. So but we find out in this scene that Jackson is being a little bitch about wearing a kilt. Now,
I see. Okay, you go ahead. Go ahead. We disagree on this. I don't know if you know.
Here's what I disagree on. I don't think that his father should have sprung this on him last minute. I think that is messed up, and I don't appreciate that. That he already had the suit picked out, he had the colors picked out, and at the last second, your dad is like, you got to get married in a kilt. However, I think getting married in a kilt is awesome. I think it's just the coolest thing, and I would be all for it. I don't like that it was sprung on him last minute. Your thoughts?
I agree with you. The last minute thing, like I already got a suit, so you just got here.
Right.
I think a kilt is awesome as well, but I like skirts. I like dresses. I think it's okay for Jackson to not think that's cool, to not want anything near it, and I think it's really interesting that Sookie sees the discomfort of this man and goes, well, if it means that much to him, your father gets to dictate nothing about what you wear on you. Because imagine your mother's like, well, you have to wear my wedding dress. And it's like really not your thing.
I know. But have you considered that you don't want your Scottish ancestors' ghosts to be mad at you?
Well, I don't,
That is a cohort of ghosts that you do not want mad at you.
I see. Well, I didn't know it was, inherently that
Once you wear the kilt at the wedding, the ghosts are okay. They don't haunt you forever. But Scottish ghosts are pretty insistent.
I guess I wasn't that familiar with the Scottish traditions and ceremonies. So my bad. I should know more about.
All right. I'll call off people. The ghosts. Yes, he should be able to wear whatever he wants. I agree. But I can't wrap my head around someone who wouldn't be psyched to wear a kilt, given the opportunity.
Okay. All right.
I just think they're cool.
Sure.
Because it's not just the skirt part. There's a coat of arms that goes over it. There's a whole nother belt, like a chain sack thing.
Yeah. You don't think there's some people who are like, can you stop?
Okay.
Ew.
All right, whatever. So here's where we find out.
Maybe I don't like plaid.
Maybe they don't like plaid. You're right. No, but the plaid even means okay, forget it.
Oh, I love it. I love it. But yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
so after we find out finally. Okay, so Lorelai and Chris go out and sit on the front stoop.
But why? May I just more reminders of why Christopher is Christopher? Because he does not like her town. He does not like the people and what they talk about. We saw this in the last episode also when he went to the town movie. I don't know. Oh, it was the last episode. It was like 2 episodes ago. We saw it, and he wants to leave because Kirk is saying his goofy things and people are being their goofy small town selves. I just think he doesn't match with this Lorelai, with this version of Lorelai, the adult Lorelai, who she created on her own with her child and his. But he's like, let's get out of here. I'm done with this.
Yep. He's being a little snot. He's being a
Mm-hmm.
little whiny baby.
Mm-hmm.
And
she
goes
says,
out.
bossy, I like it.
Yep. And so they go sit on the stoop with their white wine. And he's like, maybe I'll come to I don't know. Somehow it comes up that he's available Sunday. And she's like, why are you available? And he's like, things with Sherry aren't going well. And she's out of town and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh my God. They're going to kiss. They're going to kiss. And they don't in this scene, right?
No, they don't. No.
Yeah.
No,
I wrote,
but
Chris and Sherry are breaking up, question mark. And then it cuts to Lorelai decorating, right? Like they
yeah,
don't kiss.
but do you see, they don't kiss here, but do you see how you wrote a question mark?
Mm-hmm.
That question mark was for sure in there. They did not break up. He said, we had a talk and we're taking time apart to think.
Yep.
He did not say breaking up. He didn't say broke up. He said he's thinking about finding an apartment.
This is the most wishy-washy, non-committal response from a dude, women, men, in fact. Anyone in a relationship, if someone gives you an answer like that, back up. That person has no idea what they're doing. I know it's painful. I know you like them. But if someone gives you an answer like that, that is a wishy-washy, gray area, non-committal answer. And that person is not ready to be with you.
I know, but I have been on the side of like, I heard something else because I really want
I've liked
this.
someone. Oh, no, totally. I have liked someone so hard that I have missed this red flag and been like, he said they're on the rocks. That, and like you just hear what you want to hear. Oh, I've absolutely been there.
It's so clear when it's other people. Yeah.
God, that's why I'm making this PSA, because I wish I could shake my younger self sometime.
Yes.
I've had a guy flat out tell me I'm not ready for a relationship, but I like hanging out with you. And what I heard was, I'm not ready for a relationship right now, but I like hanging out with you. So if I hang out with you long enough, maybe I'll be ready for a relationship in the future, and then you'll be there and I can have a relationship with you. And like, I made all that up.
And that makes sense for you
he
to
told
make
me he
up,
didn't want a relationship, and I couldn't hear it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Ugh. But she's doing that. I want to shake her. I want to shake him for being a wishy-washy little twerp.
Yeah, like Lorelai, I want to shake out of love, out of empathy, out of like, but also, in some ways, you guys do belong together because you can't get over it. It's like you keep, I don't know, you can't. The drug is still in you. So okay, let's go for another round. And you said you reminded me, hey, because we're not there yet. We're into the almond stage.
Yeah, which I think was a dumb little like. Okay, she's eating the almonds, whatever. And then,
but it does give me the icks about her. I know it's supposed to be funny, but if your child spends 6 hours putting together stupid almonds for your stupid best friend, your awesome best friend, you're eating the ones with the tool, like it's almonds. What?
It's so rude. Yeah, she's a child.
It's not
funny. She has no impulse control. Yeah, so she's eating the. Yeah, it shows that Lorelai has a
childish sense of humor, I guess. I hated that as a child too. I never liked those kind of jokes. But you did it. That's the thing. It would be funny if like, what if I took the almonds from you? But even that's not funny. But you actually did it, and you still want me to think it's funny.
Yeah.
Okay, fun for me.
Yeah,
Yay.
and now when somebody doesn't get their bag of almonds, you're gonna look like a jerk.
And I'm going to look like I'm the one who said I would have all these almonds to you. So unless Lorelai's going to do it, Rory's going to make up for it. She's not going to hand in a partial
I know.
project. Yeah.
I know. And if you want 40 bags of almonds and you get back 39, forget about it.
and then here's where I want to yell, Lorelai, please find another best friend, because this piece of gossip is so the wrong thing to share with your child, because that's her father.
Yes.
Like, you're so happy about the gossip that Chris and Sherry supposedly broke up, that you're sharing it like it's good news with your daughter, who's not. Like, you're even putting that kind of like ick into her mind that she should be happy about things like this.
Yeah. I was pretty outraged that Lorelai shared this information with Rory this soon. Yeah. This had no reason to reach Rory's ears yet at all. Because nothing was said.
They're best friends now. They're
besties, and Lorelai heard what she wanted to hear, and then she went and told her best friend, and that was the wrong move entirely.
Yeah, because like a game of telephone, you already passed wrong information. To Rory. Like, that's not what happened.
Right. That's not what he said.
That's not what he said. That's what he alluded to, so that he can get in there.
Yep. Get in your pantaloons, which he will in a second. But first, Paris calls and says, I think we're in. It's a high energy call.
No, first it's a bad call. That was a bad call.
Oh, wait. Did I skip ahead to the other call? Oh, yes, that was at the wedding. What does Paris say during this call?
The concession speech, like the
Oh, yes. Oh, God. Paris, relax.
I'm going to lose, but the person who wins, I bet they'll organize some Bafo senior ditch day. Paris talks about kids her age like she's 102.
I know. Paris needs to just chill. Relax, please. Whatever.
Yeah.
We get to the inn. She's doing the last of the decorations. I wrote, she's decorating. Michelle is trying to go home, but he's also being indirect about needing to go home. He can't just say, I'm going home now. He's like, unless you need me. And she's like, great, stay. This goes on way too long, this bit. I don't know. I was like, are we killing time in this episode or something? Finally, Michelle leaves. Chris comes down. Lorelai sits on the couch. He sits basically in her lap.
Yes.
If you look at the couch seating.
Yes. There's so much more couch on the other side of Lorelai. There's actually a second couch on the other side of her.
Yes. She sits on 1/3 of the couch, and he sits between her third and the end of he sits so close to it. Ridiculous.
And then he practically does the yawn move.
He does the yawn move.
He practically does that. Now his arm is behind her. Now, he is not completely responsible for where
because she nestles in.
Yes.
She nestles into his armpit.
Yes.
And she snuggles in, and I'm like, oh no, here it happens. And you knew it was going to happen, and I'm just going, oh no. And I wrote Chris and Lore.
I'm still going, oh no.
Chris and Lore kiss. I started writing Lore in my notes because I still don't know how to spell Lorelai, because I'm not allowed to look it up, because if I do, it'll be a spoiler. So I've just started writing Lore. Chris and Lore kiss.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh no. And then they're like, what now? And eventually he's like, come up to my room. And I was like, you idiots. And right until the moment she goes up the stairs, because she hesitates, she like turns around, and I'm like, good. She's thinking something has given her pause. There's a part of her brain that knows she is being manipulated, and she doesn't. She's like, I forget what she says, but basically, let's go.
Well, because she wants it as much as the manipulator wants it.
I know.
It's not like, I feel it, like there's something about like how consensual all of this is.
I know.
Even though it is manipulative, I think, there is like a weird thing of like manipulative and also flirty and playful and, can I say sexy hesitant? Like, where you're just like more building of.
Yeah, I mean, the cat and mouse game is a lot of fun, but also, and as I reminded you while we were watching, they had sex on a balcony like 2 years ago.
Yeah, this isn't crazy. Yeah.
This is not out of the clear blue sky. Like
I don't even think it was 2 years ago.
I don't even think it was 2 years
Yeah.
ago. We could go back and see when it was. But they recently had sex on the balcony of her childhood home.
While the kid and the parents were downstairs.
While the family is downstairs. So it's been worse.
That's true. Yeah.
They've made stupider choices than this choice right here, but okay.
Yeah.
So they go up to presumably knock boots. Then we find Lorelai is in a bathrobe. This is now post deed. She's in a fluffy bathrobe, and she comes downstairs, and Sookie's in the kitchen wigging out in full makeup.
Yeah.
She put on her wedding dress, and then she put on her veil, and apparently a full face of makeup. She's in her wedding dress, fixing the cake, losing her mind. Lorelai talks her down.
Now, there's always not always, but a lot of times there's this bride in her full outfit freaking out. That's very, very interesting. I think because wedding gowns are so gorgeous. Like, they just are pretty. There's so much effort put into them, and it fits so nice. And I think visually you want a woman in a wedding dress for some reason in these shows. And I always think did she put that on herself? Because wedding dresses tend to be very, very complicated with all that lace. How do you get
It's usually a two-man job to get into a wedding dress for sure.
Yeah. And then also there's something about the way Sookie was scared that it was the first time that on a TV show I was like, all right, because people go, oh, you have butterflies, you have cold feet, that's normal, still go through with it. And I always think is that really a thing? To have cold feet, to it just always seems weird. But then when she says, I'm scared, I don't want to get divorced, I don't want to fight all the time and end up bitter, I'm like, oh, you're not scared of marrying Jackson. You're scared that it seems inevitable that marriages and weddings slide into this negativity. What makes you think you're immune to it? So I kind of understood.
I mean, it's a huge transition, and I think it's reasonable
to be a huge transition.
I think if people make it into a huge transition if they want to in their heads. But most of the brides I've talked to before a wedding, I'm like, are you nervous? And they're more nervous about the event than the marriage.
Yeah.
You know, they're more like, I hope the band shows up.
Right.
Than they are I don't know, I don't want to get divorced. I don't hear that a lot before weddings. You know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
So what, there's usually somebody's usually hesitant before weddings on TV.
Yes.
So now it makes me wonder how often that's really happening.
Yeah, and I think it's natural to be nervous. I mean, I've been nervous before transitional times in my life. You go from unmarried to married. It's a change.
It just was such a huge change before when you lived separately, and now it's well, we've already lived with each other for at least a couple of years. We already shared finances. We already know what it's like to be with each other. I feel like we've made the commitment. So this is different almost for other people. This is only different if we have to split apart, because now we have to get a divorce instead of just but
yeah.
Maybe I'm a divorced person and this is my perspective. I don't know. Maybe. I'm.
You're like, weddings are stupid, am I right?
I did not say that.
That's what I heard. But anyway, Lorelai talks her down, as you do. Oh, no, wait. I did go to a wedding one time where the bride and groom had a big fight the day before the wedding. And she drunkenly said she wanted to call it. I didn't know either of them well enough to be in the talking her down. I was a guest, I really didn't know them that well. But yes, I do remember that. And I thought, oh my God, just like on TV.
Whoa.
I was like, they really had but there was just a drunken, not a serious fight. This was nerves fight, And then, of course, they got married the next day and everything was fine. But I remember thinking in that moment, oh my God, on TV, where she got really drunk and said, I don't want to marry you. And I was like, oh shit. It was very exciting.
The drunk part is hard. And I think this is just emotionally traumatic for me because I've ignored people when they're drunk because, oh, they're drunk. And like, I think 100% of the time, no, that was them. And
Mm,
like, I more got a reveal of who they are.
mm.
And
I
then
gotta go check on that couple, see if they're still married. I think they
that's,
are. I think they
it
were.
could be like, I don't, I do think, sometimes you're like siblings for a little while in
Yeah, I think it was like that.
relationships.
I think it was burning off the steam, the nerves. I don't think it was an actual declaration. I think it was like everyone had too much to drink. He said something that set her off, and like her family was there to be like, "No, you're getting married. Like, like breathe a minute. Like, sleep on it, honey." And then, of course, by the morning, she was fine. Everyone was hungover, but no, they got married. It was cute. But I
Yeah.
just remembered, I in that moment, I was like, "Whoa!" Like in the
Yeah.
movies.
That's very, yeah.
And it was an out of state wedding. I'd come a long way for that. So, Kirk goes into Luke's diner to get a sandwich. He's asking about the times to make a sandwich. This scene is only in here so that it explains why Luke wants to get away from Kirk. So he claims he has to go upstairs to
Yes.
avoid Kirk. And we
Yeah.
go upstairs and boom, Jess is back.
Was that surprising to you?
Yes, I did not
Okay.
expect the Jess to come back to be in the apartment. Like, I
Okay.
figured Jess was coming back somehow, but I did not expect it right at this second. I did,
Yeah.
like, in the moment, wonder why Luke said, "I'm gonna go to my apartment for a second." So I got a little suspicious, but then boom, Jess is there, and he goes, "Now you wanna come back."
I
And,
like what Luke said because first of all, he's like, I called you 6 times. Now, this is such a Luke and Jess thing to say. He said, I didn't expect you to call me back so that we can sit on the phone and watch Sleepless in Seattle together. I wanted to know that you
right.
were okay, right? So, and I also like the line, like, you're the one asking for something, so you don't get to be James Dean this time.
Yes.
That
I
was
like
really
that too.
good.
And he also wrote, or he said, I wrote down, Jess is back, and Luke describes his shirt as a butt with hands giving me the finger.
I looked it up for the trivia portion. I could not find a t-shirt or a band logo or like
Good.
I couldn't find the reference for that. The only thing I found was other Gilmore Friends like creating their own artwork that it could
Okay.
be.
I, in my
But
head, envisioned Ren and Stimpy right away. I guess it doesn't matter. But he does say something very important, which I think needed to be said, which was things are going to be different. If you come back, you cannot be the Jess we knew. You have to be a different, better version of yourself, because that was terrible.
yeah. And I was
And
like,
the
okay, good, right on.
but
But
Jess agreed. Jess knows exactly what he's talking about. Jess didn't say, "What do you mean? I'm going to be me." Jess knows exactly what he was talking about, which I think is very mature-ish. And he's like, "Yeah, things will be different."
yeah, I think
And
that's as mature as
yeah, but also the entire town hates him. This is a steep hill to climb. He's got
yeah.
one friend in this town.
Mm-hmm. I think people are pretty forgiving, especially if you really show a change. If your
Mhm.
actions, like, the thing is your actions have to repeat for longer than they were bad. Like your good
Right.
actions have to repeat. So it's going to take a minute, but if you're not doing anything bad, people aren't like it's not a town that like well, they do have pitchforks. It's very strange, but I feel like you can do it.
You can do it, but this town really loved to hate him a little
Yeah.
bit because he was
And
an
he told
outsider.
and Luke told him, they told me I was insane. They told me start writing letters to Jodie Foster. Do you know that reference?
Is it because she took in like orphans or something?
No, I looked it up. I did not know about it. I'll tell you later in the trivia that
Okay.
I didn't know Jodie Foster had anything to do with this version of crazy, but that was a weird reference to throw in there. He said
Okay.
he ignored them and then just proved them right. And after all that chaos and havoc, he wants to come back. Now, he says things will be different, but I didn't think that he left Luke's apartment in a different attitude.
Right.
Did you catch that?
No,
Or
because as he's leaving, Luke says they're still together. Like, Luke knows why he's back. Luke's not an idiot. So he's like, they're still together and they're happy. And then Jess is like, we'll see, you know.
He didn't say
And he gives
anything.
a lot. What's
He's
that?
like, who? I don't know who you're talking
Yeah.
about.
Yes, you do, you idiot. So, yeah, he has. And I'm like, oh my God, he's going to go confront Rory at the wedding. Because Luke in that scene says where Rory is right now. He's like, she's not going to be somewhere. She's at a wedding right now at the end. I'm like, Luke, what are you doing? He's going to go. And like, you know that Dean is there. Like, this one's kind of on Luke.
I think Luke really believes that Rory and Dean are together, and he's only warning Jess because he doesn't want Jess to embarrass himself. I think Luke really believes, like, everybody get over it and we're all back to Dean and Rory being together and you shouldn't bother. Like, I don't think he gets what Lorelai sees, is that this kid has a chance. Like, he knows it. Yeah, I think
and
Luke is very la-di-da about this.
Luke doesn't know that Rory went to New York, does he?
No, even though she said, do you want me to say hi to Luke that day? And I'm like, from what? How are you going to do that?
Yeah.
But yeah, she didn't tell.
Yeah, so the only people who know that she went to New York are Jess, Lorelai, and Rory, right?
And I'm hoping Lane, because I hope they got to like.
She better have told Lane.
Yeah.
Poor Lane didn't get a lot to do in this episode. But can we get to the wedding yet?
Yes.
Okay.
So much happens at the wedding.
So Lane is playing the drums.
But wait, before we get to the wedding, we forgot that like, just for the record, Chris and Lorelai decide to give it a go because they said just to say where we are is like, and I get it from the point of immaturity, and they met when they were immature, but they had never been single at the same time, with him having all of his ducks in a row with a Volvo, and they've never been in the same like time and space. So now they believe that they're both ready for having a kid together now that their kid is a grown up, and he sees this as this like
so infuriating that they have this talk at this time.
But he made the commitment, and he's the one who wanted it. So because I think that has a lot to do with it. He still didn't say that Cherry and him broke up, but he did say, and he's committed. He's coming to the wedding.
It's a terrible idea. All of it. I was like, no, this does not end well. The minute Chris got a phone call, I'm like, oh, this doesn't happen. You know?
Yeah. You were right.
So we get to the wedding. Paris wins.
Paris calls Dean's phone.
Yeah, calls. Oh, Rory's dress. Rory's dress is one of the cutest things I've ever seen in my entire life. I want that dress. I want the body that would fit that dress because I think that doesn't hurt. But, such a pretty color, and the cut. Oh, I love that dress.
It's very fitting on her too. Like she
looks
so
great.
Long and
that's
a tough dress to.
I know,
look good
you really
need
no lines.
Yeah, no lines, exactly.
No lines. You need magic Spanx. I don't know what you need, but it's a Hollywood. It's like Yeah,
she was also a model before this. Yeah. So a dress is gonna fall on her. You know.
Oh, it looked great. Yes. Somehow Paris gets Dean's phone number, which is very funny. And she's like, how did you get this number? And she's like, what? No. Who is this? We won. And then Dean's like, so I guess you're going to DC and she's like, we'll talk.
You know what's interesting is like at that point, Rory sort of promises, she's like, let me look into it and get back to you, because Rory doesn't want to go away. She still thinks she's good with Dean, you know, like, that'll be too much of a strain on their relationship. You know, so she's going to try to get out of it. Mistake. This is an opportunity for you and your school and your own life. You can be away from your boyfriend. But she, at this point, she's like, no, I'll figure something out. And then Emily and her face when Lorelai's like, yeah, Christopher's coming around more often to, quote, see his daughter. Oh my God. Yay!
Yeah.
I finally get to be the grandma of a non-broken family. I hate
Yes, I
broken
know. The delight
families.
of Emily infuriated me. But did we skip over what Lorelai said was the best part of being an adult?
Yes, we did.
Okay, I just want to point out what was the word she used? The best part of being an adult is that you get things like this, and she holds up a tiki cup with an umbrella.
Mm-hmm.
Can I just say that as an adult, you can just buy all of the tiny umbrellas you ever wanted. So I have a bag of these.
No, you don't.
And I can put them in any drink I want. I held out the little. Okay, if you're not watching on YouTube, you're missing out on my little umbrella drink.
Why do you have that?
Because I've always wanted tiny umbrellas.
Okay, fair.
Because they're adorable.
That's
and
fun.
It's the best part of being an adult is if you go to a place and you're like, oh my God, tiny umbrellas, I want one. You can just buy them. I love being an adult. Nothing beats it. You can have all the cute stuff. You know those like when you get like a toothpick, but it's a tiny sword?
Yes.
And you can just buy those.
We are showing our age, by the way. I don't know that the tiny swords are continuing to happen. You are so delighted. I'm delighted now for you. Now I'm
love
so
a tiny umbrella. And if anyone ever wants to come over to my apartment and you need a fancy drink, I can fancy up any drink with a tiny umbrella. Okay, that's my ad for come hang out with me.
First of all, yes, and I will bring something. And
you're going to bring your bag of ice. You already said.
Oh yeah. Oh my God. But I also think obviously she was talking about the alcohol and also, yes, we also forgot that they kept saying to Dean, we're going to have to hide you when those ladies have more cocktails because Babette and oh my God, last time we forgot the other one's name. Babette and the other sexual harassers, they harass. You are playing with that umbrella, miss.
I opened the other one because I knew that you needed one too. So now I have two, but you're right. The crinkling noise was me and I apologize, but I had to open two umbrellas to let you know that I have one for you.
Aww.
Okay. But yes, Miss Patty.
Miss Patty. Okay, that would not pass anymore, but we can keep moving. Yes.
Yeah, I know. We're edging on some it's not a good, that did not age well. The harassment of the teenage boy from the adult women. Could we not? Maybe.
Yes.
I think they thought they were being forward thinking because it was not. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. That's very true.
Because it was like, oh, what if we sexually harass a boy?
Right.
Like, no, it's not good either.
I shouldn't forget that. That's very important because around that time we were swinging that way where we were going like, you know how we can get our power back is we can do that.
Why don't
thing.
We do it too?
Yeah,
and we didn't realize that that's not how that works.
No,
and the men love it. So we have to rethink the whole strategy.
Yes.
We have to label bathrooms better.
Okay, so Emily's delighted.
Emily's delighted. Then Rory. No, wait. This scene, so much happened.
That's why I have subcategories.
You have subcategories. I'm seeing them here. So Chris and Lorelai talk about what's going to happen. Oh, no. Chris and Rory talk. And he's like, he says something vague to Rory. And then he's like, how do you feel about that? And she's like, that would be great. I've waited so long.
She said, we've waited so long for this.
We've waited so long. Oh, you poor
She said,
kid.
What are your intentions? Because we have been waiting for this for a really long time and we don't take disappointment and we take disappointment extremely hard. So she's asking him like, hey, you've messed with my mom before and in turn have messed with me. We've been waiting for you to commit to this family. Like we've talked about it. We've dreamt about it. And now you're saying that you are ready to take us on, quote unquote. Are you or are you not? And he's like, yeah. Then when he gets the call and she's like, oh, work on a Sunday. He's like, hey, lady, I got a lot of responsibilities now. Once again, going like, I'm an adult. I got people. I work because work calls me.
His commitment to this family lasted 40 seconds.
Yep.
It could not have been more hilariously timed. The minute the phone rang, I was like, first of all, he's not attending the wedding. Whatever's on the other end of that call is going to make him miss the wedding. Because we've set up multiple times that Chris is not reliable, but then he was reliable for like a few episodes, like a half a season, actually.
God, reliable for what? What?
He's not. I mean, look, if you need your cast removed, you need Chris there, right? So he showed up to that. He showed up to her weird Shakespeare thing, right?
Sure. And a movie. Okay.
Right. So like he's been showing up, but the minute the phone rang, I was like, that phone is going to make him not attend this wedding. And sure enough, it's Sherry. But before that, Rory wanders off and she looks to a crick, a little crick, and she sees Jess. And he looks up. I think I've seen this photo. I'm not sure, but it looks like a meme. Like it looked familiar to me, and I don't know if it was from this or just movies do this scene a lot, but it looked familiar the way he just like looked up casually when he's at the side of the lake. And she's like, "What are you doing here?" And he's like, "What do you mean? I'm back." And she's like, "Why are you back?" And
did you see the fear on her face? If he's back, she has to deal with the fact that he is now an option.
Yep.
And so there was fear on her face, and she took that fear and made out with him.
And she finally smooched him.
And she smooched him.
It was not ambiguous. She went in for the smooch and they smooched. And I was very, very happy because I said there was going to be a new smooch this episode, and I called it during the wedding. I got it right down to during the wedding. There's going to be some kind of new smooch.
Yes. In fact, this is very interesting because in our review of season 1, episode 19, so like 3 episodes ago, we were hating on Chris, as we do, and you said, I hope they don't put them back together at some point. And you continue to say the only reason they're not together is because Chris is with someone else, and that can change. So it's possible they get back together at some point in the series. I hope not. That wasn't even part of your predictions. That was just while we were talking about Christopher. This was when the car crash episode happened and he showed up in the middle of the night. And then during predictions for that episode, you said Chris is going to sniff around a lot more often now. And so you called out, you also said the final episode would be the wedding. And now you said
I've been saying that all season.
Yes, you have. Yes, you
all
have.
season. I'm like, the season finale has to be a wedding. That's what they do on TV. Maybe because of this, but I called that. I'm very proud of myself for calling that. I wrote down, then Chris, Sherry calls.
Yeah.
And after the Jess kiss, we all freaked out a little bit. So I don't even remember what happens immediately after because I was so like delirious. But then we find out that Sherry is pregnant and he tells Lorelai. And I just wrote down, Chris is a piece of shit. He's just a terrible person. He's an absolutely rotten person.
But a lot of people don't understand. Other Gilmore friends have said it. Why does he have to break up with Lorelai? You don't have to go back to a person you don't want to be with because they're pregnant. You could still be part of that person's life and not get married. But he said, I missed it with Rory and I never forgave myself. Am I just going to do that again? Take off, disappear. And what's amazing about that is Lorelai's face. Lauren Graham, once again, your face.
I know.
She's heartbroken for multiple reasons. 1, he's leaving her. 2, she's about to have to walk down the aisle. I love that she said, look, I have to walk down this aisle in like less than a minute and I have to be happy for my best friend. And she's right. She needs to pull it together right now. It is not about her. Unfortunately, your feelings sometimes have to be. So she's brokenhearted, and she's brokenhearted because she's like, oh, right. You weren't there for me with this kid. And my heart broke again about it in her face. Oh my God.
Yep. And he has a chance to be with Rory now. Correct that. And he can't do that. And he's now gonna break her heart again.
And she's going to watch this other woman get what she didn't get as a kid.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
For
then
a person that he said he doesn't know that he wants to be with. But this crystallized it for him. Also, not for nothing. How long has she been pregnant? And like,
yeah, wow.
I know it's TV and I know like that, you know, but like you tell people you're pregnant before the first trimester.
Well, let's hold on. She's telling the father of that potential
but
kid.
now he
and
told
but he's telling the person that he just committed to. I think like giving her a heads up right away is actually a decent thing to do instead of let me hide this until I know what's really happening.
Yeah,
he
I
just
know. I know, but I'm just like flabbergasted.
He could also stay through the wedding. She's still going to be pregnant.
Yeah, but also, and this happened within 24 hours. You know, like in 24 hours, she found the rehearsal dinner was last night.
Yeah, but
where she found out things are on the rocks with Sherry. Then they had stooped each other in the hotel room, and then the next day, he's like, he's like, I'm ready to be a family man again. Like, let's do this. And then
but the history's there for that. Yeah.
Ugh.
Yes.
Don't like. No like.
Yes.
Do not like. Don't tell people after one night. Why are they committing to each other after one night together?
That's not after one night together. That's no, there's a history there. It's not.
I know,
like
but it's one
nowhere.
night of reconnecting in this way. You know,
because they believe that the only thing that has been keeping them apart, they both believe this separately and together. The only thing keeping them apart was they've always been with other people, and Chris was not ready for a commitment. So now Chris is ready for a commitment. Lorelai is open and free. So they think this is the best timing. And I think that's the kind of math that like kind of checks out when you're getting together with a person you've known for so long. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, I think you could put that together. But you know, you're also just, you know, you're that toxic, constant. You gotta, you know, I think it has to do with Lorelai continuing to think that she's a kid because part of her childhood needed to like grow up faster.
Yeah, she has unresolved stuff.
Yeah.
And then the look on her face when she's walking down the aisle.
The look on both of their faces, I love it. They were both in shock.
Yep.
Both for different reasons. Both can't talk about it right now.
Yep.
And what song was playing?
Oh, the Lonely Plain.
I Can't Get Started.
Yeah.
I
Can't get started.
The song now I don't know if that's actually the song that she picked to go down the aisle, or that was just our end song for the vibe.
I see. That was our little callback from the soundtrack because
I wonder.
Lane and Rory didn't offer.
I mean, it's fine. She still could have picked that song, but in my mind, that song was playing at the end of the episode, not at the start of her wedding. Yeah,
I gotcha.
I think. What do you?
Either
do you
way,
think so?
That's good. That is debatable.
Yeah.
I mean, I think maybe she went with it. I love that though in movies where you think it's the soundtrack and then one of the characters will flip off the radio.
Yeah.
You know, and it was like playing on the radio the whole time.
Do you remember that was in Wayne's World? We got that fun moment when they were in the cars. Yeah, and then all right. Anyway, Wayne's World party time, excellent. Let's keep going. Trivia. That was the finale. Were you satisfied? What did you think?
I am very satisfied. I feel like I am very smug about how much I called was going to happen.
Enjoy.
We did not see them exchanging vows, but I assumed that they went through with the marriage, that there was no stop the wedding. Season 3 may begin with a stop the wedding, but I doubt it. I really don't think that happens. I think Jackson and Sookie did get married, but I think season 3, episode 1 has got to pick up 5 minutes from here. Holy crap. Is
that part of the prediction?
That is a hope. And now we've tried to distinguish between hope and predictions.
Well, before we get into predictions, let me tell you the trivia, because I have questions for you. Yeah. This was aired May 21st, 2002, season 2, episode 22. It's called I Can't Get Started, which is the name of the Ella Fitzgerald song that we kept hearing. And I only know that song from this show. So, but I kind of get into it as like the more I get to know it, the more I watch. Anyway, Jodie Foster. Remember the Jodie Foster
Yes. What
reference?
is the Jodie Foster
Okay.
reference?
John Hinckley Jr.
Oh, this part.
I did
Okay.
not know this. So he
Yeah.
attempted the assassination of Ronald Reagan, which I do
Yes.
remember.
To get the
But
attention of Jodie Foster.
I didn't know it was for the attention of Jodie Foster. I
Yeah.
don't know why I never put that together. When she went to Yale, he moved to New Haven to stalk her. He would slip letters and poems under her dorm, and he would leave her messages. So when Luke was saying, write letters to Jodie Foster, he was saying like a like an obsessed
Like I'm
crazy
being
yeah,
obsessed.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um
I thought it
yeah.
was more about like orphaned children. But yes, I do remember that the psycho was obsessed with her and like shoot a president to get the attention of a
Yeah.
lady.
And it's actually
Yeah.
before she was famous or anything. So he was just like randomly obsessed with her. And I think from what I understand, I didn't look so hard into this part. It kind of helped her become famous.
Oh,
But she was also going to Yale. So I feel like you have a little bit more of a chance
maybe.
when, and she's also a great actor. Like
Yeah.
I love her. Okay. You noticed
Wow.
this. There was a chuppah in Sookie and Jackson's
I did
wedding.
notice. Was
That
it the
was the
same one?
Luke chuppah, yeah.
It was the same one?
Mm-hmm.
Yay!
I never noticed that.
I noticed it, but I didn't get a good look at it. I noticed it was similar and it was wood, but I did not get a good look at it. It did have the twisties going up, though.
Yes. I
Yeah.
didn't notice that until I was looking for extra special information that I might have missed in trivia for this episode. And I'm like, no way, that's got to be wrong. I went back to the episode. I like looked at it closer. It's the same chuppah. Oh my
Nice.
God. Yes. I can't believe you saw that. Anyway. There's another. I thought this was a fun one. The maid. There was only one scene with the maid, and Emily. She's telling Emily that dinner's ready, and Emily goes, "Bless you, Inger." That's actually the actor's name.
Oh.
It's Inger Jackson, and she actually is Alexis Bledel, Rory's stand-in for the show.
Oh,
So yeah, it was
no!
just like a fun,
Oh.
like, hey, why don't you get this role for like a day?
That's
And yeah.
funny. You get a different pay rate if you have like 2 seconds of screen time. That's
Mhm.
great.
And the final one is one that you already know. That's why we have the poodles in our merch
In
with
our
all the
merch
yes.
is Oi with the Poodles.
Oh, with the poodles already. Just
O
the funniest line in the world. So
Okay. Yeah, these pretzels are making me thirsty. I love it. It's a show inside joke. It's great.
yeah. Yeah. And
That's
it's
awesome.
gilmorefriends.com if you want to take a look at what we're talking about. And now the predictions. Okay, so you think we might start at the wedding?
Okay, so remember when Pam and Jim kissed for the first time on The Office, and then that's how the season ended, and then they had to start the next season, and they had to like start from that minute because it was such a cliffhanger. And like they kiss and she backs up and she's like, what? And then season over. And we just start right from that minute. And I was so glad they did that because you don't miss a second of this conversation. I'm hoping they do something like that where season 3 picks up at the wedding. And it's like at the wedding, Rory has to tell Dean Jess is back, and Dean has to go, what? And like flip a table. I hope he doesn't. I mean, I don't think he flips a table, but I bet he flips a table.
Mm.
And then, oh my God, I keep remembering that Luke beat the hell out of him one time. And he's looking for round 2. So like, I don't know. I think there's going to be a scene at this wedding where Jess and Dean confront each other. Because that's
Okay.
how season 2 started almost. With Dean and Tristan.
That's how
Right?
is it? I'm not remembering that.
There was a weird love triangle that ended season 1.
Yeah.
So like
Maybe.
this is how we were starting. So what they could also do, the writers, they could also start like the next day, where it's like Rory is telling Lorelai what happened last at the wedding. No, you know what? They really do have to start at the wedding. We really need to see how the rest of this plays out because it's high drama right now. It would be a mistake. And they did all this setup. I think they played out this scene. They have this whole setup in the backyard. Yeah, they start at the wedding.
Okay.
That's my prediction. And
Love
then
it.
there is a what are you doing back here to Jess from Dean? And then he's like, what do you mean? I just like small towns, goofy. And then yeah. I really hope that whatever Lorelai does, she gets Chris out of her system. Like, I just want her to be done with him. And I know it's probably not, that's probably wishful thinking on my end, but I hope she finally realizes that she's only ever going to be jerked around by this person. And if they want to co-parent, they cannot be romantically involved.
I love that this, like, there's a half hope section, half prediction.
I know.
Yeah.
Oh. I think Sookie and Jackson go on honeymoon to Bora Bora.
They seem like such a Bora Bora crowd, right?
Yeah. I don't know where they go on a honeymoon, but I bet there's a honeymoon postcard. That's a prediction.
Okay.
I bet they send a postcard to someone. I bet Lorelai maybe at the inn, maybe at home, but I bet somebody reads a honeymoon postcard in the next episode or two. Name another character. Emily and Richard seem to be doing fine. I still think Richard's going to burn out on whatever project he's doing.
Okay.
And be like, I guess I really do have to retire now. That's coming. By the way, I watched Dirty Dancing recently.
Yes,
and I
me
saw
too.
Emily as the mom.
She sounds really different, right?
She really gets no lines.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
basically at all.
And you know what? She was supposed to get even less lines. She was supposed to be just one of the dancers. They just threw her into that mother role after she was already there on set. So
yeah.
No,
she looks great. I mean, she's gorgeous. But yeah, they do not give her any lines.
Did you think she sounded different? She didn't put on the fancy tone.
Yeah, she didn't have the mid-Atlantic, you know, the hoity-toity voice. But anyway, I think...
And she didn't get to dance in that movie.
No.
And she's a dancer. They hired her because she was a dancer. I thought that was very interesting. Yeah.
It's terrible.
What a movie. I didn't watch the whole thing this time. It just gets uncomfortable. Like,
yeah.
I used to love the movie, and now I'm just like, what's he doing with someone named Baby? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. But I think, I don't know where Paris and Rory being, oh God, I hope it's not a plot point that Paris and Rory are president and vice president of Chilton.
Another hope.
Can we skip over that?
Are we going to?
No. No, I don't think we go to DC with them, though. I think we see fallout from them, and if we do, it's quick. It's 6 weeks in the summer. I don't think we see it. I think we skip it. I think either they bonded or they hate each other. Their relationship goes to one extreme or the other. I think they are besties officially when they get back from DC. No, because we need that tension. I don't know. We need an enemy.
Well, if you have watched this show before, you have to be loving these predictions in the same way that I am. So that's my wink to everyone who knows. And if you're watching it for the first time, enjoy the lack of knowing. How wonderful for you. And you'll find out. And don't forget, subscribe, because guess what? Next week, we're putting out the new season. We don't wait. And in between, we have the YouTube live for the wrap up. So subscribe. Thank you for listening. Good night.
Good night, everybody.